Hello everybody, Necromancer for Kids here, back at you with a new series that I'm going to try to be doing. I'll be doing at least a couple of episodes unless people seem to really not like it. But the idea of the series is one set where I can only pick one set, which I'm going to be going relatively in order, but maybe I'll skip around if people think that there are some sets they'd really like to see, and I can only play cards from that set in my GOAT format deck, in addition to some GOAT staples and a couple of other cards. And for me, this is what I'm going to define as staples for GOAT format. Let me know if you think that, I may be being a little too generous or whatever, but I'm going to be using Sangan, Delinquent Duo, Graceful Charity, Pot of Greed, Heavy Storm, Mystical Space Typhoon. Nobleman of Crossout is debatable, but it's in almost every single GOAT format deck. So I'm going to allow myself to use one copy instead of two copies. And then I'm going to use Premature Burial, Snatch Steal, Call Haunted, Mirror Force, Ring of Destruction, and Torrential Tribute as well. These aren't going to count as staple cards, but I'm going to allow myself to use Metamorphosis and Polymerization so that we can make some use of the fusion deck monsters that we're going to run into as we go through the series. Sangan again is maybe debatable, but I thought that maybe it'd be a little more interesting to have like a searcher that you can have in every single deck. Let me know if you guys think I shouldn't include it as a staple card. Another rule that I'm going to use is that if the set has a staple, which doesn't include Metamorphosis and Polymerization, then I'm going to allow myself to replace that with one of any other card except for Blackluster Soldier, Envoy of the Beginning, or Chaos Sorcerer, because I think that would make it a bit too much that I just homogenize every single deck into a Chaos deck, and then that's not very fun. So yeah, these are the cards that I'm going to use as a base, and usually the card that I'm going to replace cards with is either like Breaker the Magical Warrior, Tribe Infecting Virus, whatever. But also, if we run into a card that is literally unplayable unless you have one card, a specific one other card in the deck, I'm going to allow myself to use that. But only if I'm also including that card that requires it. For instance, if I had a card that said, oh, well, Tribute Dark Magician, I would need to be able to include Dark Magician as a card in my deck to be able to play it. So I'm going to be able to play Dark Magician as well. But again, I can't just play Dark Magician without the card that requires me to tribute it. So with that out of the way, the first set that I'm going to be doing is Legend of Blue Eyes White Dragon. And I looked through it a whole bunch. There's a lot of the staple GOAT fusions, except for they're all the vanilla ones that you wouldn't actually want to summon by themselves. You'd only want to summon them if you are using them as like fodder for chaos or whatever. But we're not doing that, so yeah. Also, I'm not going to do any OTK, or rather, no, FTK decks or super stall burn decks unless I literally have no other choice for this set. So I'm not going to be doing Exodia, even though it is a possible way to go, but basically it would just be a huge stall deck, and I don't think that would be any fun to watch and any fun to play or any fun to play against. But you'll see that Legend of Blue Eyes set, I did make an interesting deck, and this is what I ended up with. I've got 3 Man-Eater Bug, the Sangan, Tribe Infecting Virus, because Pot of Greed isn't a set already, so that's my one replacement card. I've got 2 Aquamador, 2 Curse of Dragon, 3 Giant Soldier Stone. The premium attacker in this deck is Skull Redbird, with 1550 attack and 1200 defense, and Urabi with 1500 attack, 800 defense. Got Duo. I've got the 3 Fissure. Thankfully, at least we've got some removal in this set. Graceful Charity, Heavy Storm, Mystical Space Typhoon, No One Cross Out, Pot of Greed, Premature Burial, Snatch Steal. I went back and forth between playing 1 and 2 Stop Defense. It's almost like a really bad version of No One Cross Out, and like if my opponent's walling up, I can use it to actually get in to destroy their monster. Thankfully, Swords Revealing Light is also in this set, so I'm running that. And I ran between 1 or 2 Wasteland when I was testing it out, swapping it out with Stop Defense, etc. Wasteland is pretty decent. I could have also ran Mountain to boost Skull Red Bird and Curse of Dragon, but I thought it was more fun to use Wasteland to boost Giant Soldier Stone and Urabi. So I went with that. It was okay, as you'll see. I have Call the Haunted, Mirror Force, Ring, Torrential, and then 3 Trap Hole, which, if I didn't have these fissures and these trap holes, I would be pretty dead. As well, I made a side deck. It's not really that great or anything, though. I put in Arm Ninja, Reaper of the Cards, another Aquamador, Blue Eyes White Dragon. I don't know. Maybe if my opponent's playing Stall, I'd be able to summon it. Another Cursed Dragon, for whatever. I just kind of threw these in there just as a reminder that I can play them if I wanted to. Remove Trap, which I did side in once, but it's not the greatest card. Select face up trap card and destroy it. Wish it would also let you choose face down, but whatever. My second Stop Defense, and then 3 Dragon Capture Jar in case my opponent just so happens to play dragons, which did not come up, as you can easily imagine. With that, I will show you the first duel that I had with the deck, where I got extremely lucky. And I actually only tested this against 2 different people, and I got super lucky to be playing people that were playing casual decks super late at night, so it was actually interesting instead of just getting completely stomped. So let me go through the first duel, and then I'll just do a replay of the rest of the duels for my matches. Alright, so here was the first duel that I did. As soon as I made this deck, I was thinking, well, let me just try it out. I just made it and I'm free at the moment, so let's see what it can do. And I ended up going first because I won the rock, paper, scissors. Of course, always told my opponent best of luck. And my starting hand is actually pretty decent for what it could be. End up with 3 walls, but the walls at least have some attack, and 2000 defense is not bad in Go format. So what I end up doing is just setting the Soldier of Stone and a Trap Hole. Someone could argue that there's not really a point to setting the Trap Hole on the first turn, but I just figured maybe there's something wild that'll go on. Maybe they'll know I'm gonna cross out my Giant Soldier, etc., etc. Give myself an opportunity to attack. You're gonna see that I don't play 100% optimally, because here's the thing. Unless I'm in a tournament, I really don't want to put stress on myself to play at 100% all the time. So I'm not going to spend too much time. I'm not going to no-brain it. But I'm not going to spend too much time thinking about my plays, because that's just not fun to me. I'm just playing a random opponent, in an unrated game. I don't want to have to stress myself. That's just not how I play. But anyway, I end my turn with that. And my opponent summons Sangan, and I'm not gonna trap pull that because it's Sangan. He attacks into my Giant Soldier Stone, and it is my turn again. You know what? I decide I'm just gonna go pure offense. I've got the trap hole still, so if they summon something, my giant soldier stone still safe. And I attack in. You could argue that instead of what I do, I could summon another one of these guys since I have the trap hole back up, but I decided not to do that. That would definitely be a potential strategy though. And you'll see, this is my first game that I play as soon as I make this deck, and I'm up against Harpies, which, you know, Harpies could do some things, but they're definitely not the most competitive deck in Go format. So I'm gonna 100% commend my opponent for playing Harpies. It was in the middle of the night, like something like 4 a.m. when I was doing this. So thank you very much, opponent, for not super tryharding and unrated. And here I just set a Man-Eater Bug, and I commend my opponent in chat, and they play Harpy's Hunting Ground. Thankfully, when they summon, I can actually chain this, so that is what I will do. And my opponent's commanding me. My old school deck, I got this double beatdown giant soldier stone. Giant Soldier Stone, not actually a bad card. Some people actually do play and Go format alongside Emissary of the Afterlife. My opponent duos me. I always give the thumbs up to let them know that I'm not going to try to shuffle my hand. He snipe, unfortunately, my School Space Typhoon, but oh well. And I decide to drop the Aquamador. And I draw Fissure for turn, but I've got Snatch Steel, so I might as well just use it. It has, let's see, it has 1800 attack, and so I believe that is exactly enough with the Giant Soldier Stone. And so that is my very first game won using this deck. And my opponent, of course, selects to go first for the second duel. And I'm just going to fast forward it from here because I just get stomped in the rest of this. So go ahead and enjoy watching me get my butt beat. Alright, and that was that one. And I have one other match to show you, and I will also go through that one really quickly. But this is a very cool deck by RB10, and it was interesting to face them. And again, I commend them for playing a more casual deck. Looked like maybe they were challenging themselves in a similar way to how I was challenging myself. And that was that. Thank you again to my two opponents very much for playing against me and playing some more casual decks, allowing me to actually get some wins in with this deck. Thank you as well for watching this video, and let me know again if you would like me to continue and if there's any changes you'd like to make to the rules, so on and so forth. And I will see you guys around.